This is the afternoon video briefing. This is for Tuesday, May 20th. This is James Spann. Needless to say, a very active night tonight with a potential for a significant severe weather event for the northern half of the state. So a lot of things to talk about. Let's go right to the radar. And we are live this afternoon at 2:39. And we are watching one storm with a tornado warning just north of the Alabama-Tennessee state line. This particular thunderstorm is going to be passing near or just north of Fayetteville, Tennessee, and there is a tornado warning in effect there. That warning will be in effect until 3 o'clock this afternoon. And this does include western Moore and central Lincoln counties. And again, that's for the possibility of a tornado that's near or just north of Fayetteville, Tennessee. This is, you can see, about 35 miles due north of Huntsville. And again, this is in southern Middle Tennessee across the state line, and that is a tornado warning in effect there until 3 o'clock. Let's kind of bring this out and show the big picture, and let's go to the Columbus Air Force Base radar. And you can see that showers and thunderstorms are starting to increase, especially in areas north and west of Alabama, much of eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, northern Mississippi. The showers in progress in northwest Alabama are not severe. We did have one very small, isolated storm with a tornado that clipped the northwestern corner of the state around Waterloo around noon today. Some very photogenic tornado. You'll see some of the video in a second. But again, as we're live here at 2:40, no severe weather in Alabama, just showers. But the chance of severe storms will be increasing in coming hours. There's the upper trough going negative tilt. Very favorable diffluent pattern aloft. You want to see, when you see that negative tilt to the trough, that often can represent a meaningful severe weather event. Visible satellite view, the sky partly sunny for most of the state. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 80s. An unstable air mass. That's one thing about these setups in mid to late May like this. We have a summer-like air mass with a spring-like dynamic system. And that's not necessarily a good combination. So just in moments ago, we have a tornado watch now for the Tennessee Valley and Cullman County. And again, the watch includes the Shoals, Huntsville, Florence, Scottsboro, Albertville, Guntersville, Fort Payne, Moulton, Decatur, Russellville. And it does include Cullman County, and it makes no sense in that Winston and Blount counties are not in a watch. That's a Weather Service jurisdiction thing that's beyond my control. But understand, an additional watch will be required south of that for tonight. But this is for any isolated storms that get forming this afternoon. So again, a tornado watch for the Tennessee Valley plus Cullman County in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, and additional watches will be needed to the south, most likely a tornado watch. That'll be issued later this evening. So this is the severe weather outlook for the rest of this afternoon and tonight. No real change. We have an enhanced risk over about the northern half of the state. The areas in orange on that map have a level 2 out of 5 risk, down to Demopolis, Prattville, and Lafayette, a level 1 out of 5 threat, down to Grove Hill, Fort Deposit, and Phoenix City. And this is the probabilistic outlook for tornadoes tonight. And again, what you're looking at here, this is the probability of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point. In the yellow, that is 10 to 14%. And remember, tornadoes are small. Counties are big. Even on a big severe weather day, the chance of any one spot getting hit by a tornado is relatively low. And that's one thing we try to remind people that have weather anxiety for situations like this. But again, that's the probabilistic outlook. And notice the hatched area over North Alabama, basically north of Birmingham. That means there could be a strong tornado involved this evening or tonight. And by definition, that is EF2 or higher. And of course, the probabilities drop off considerably south of Interstate 20. And don't forget, we're going to see a very impactful event in terms of wind. This is the probabilistic outlook for severe wind, and by definition, that's 58 miles per hour or greater. And that Barney purple on that map, that is representing a 45 to 59% chance of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given point from Birmingham north tonight. And again, we expect the isolated, discrete cells to roll into a squall line, and the main threat will go from tornadoes to damaging straight-line wind. So tomorrow, no problems. The marginal risk well to the east. We have one over northern Arkansas. And on day 3, which is Thursday, a marginal risk out around Wichita Falls, Texas. So let's go right to the high-resolution modeling. This is the high-resolution HRRR, and this is valid at 6 o'clock this evening. And remember, all models are wrong. Some are useful. The radar will not look exactly like this, but something like this. And you can see evidence of maybe supercell storms over the northwestern part of the state, from near Winfield up through Hackleburg up to Florence along US 43, with a more organized line back to the west over parts of Middle Tennessee and North Mississippi. So let's advance it. This is tonight at 10 o'clock. A solid line of storms approaching Gadsden, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa. And again, at that point, the emphasis will be shifting from tornadoes to damaging straight-line wind. And then this is 2 a.m., after midnight tonight. Weakening storms around Lake Martin, Montgomery, Auburn, Opelika. And they still could produce some pretty gusty winds at that point, but they should be in a weakening phase. We'll check the severe weather parameters. This is the surface-based CAPE this evening at 6 o'clock, and the numbers have come back up a little bit on this run, suggesting there might be a few spots in West Alabama at 3,000 joules per kilogram. And again, that's a summer-like look there. We get that almost every day in the summer, but we don't have the dynamics like we have now. And speaking of dynamics, this is the storm relative helicity, the 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. This is the veering of the wind with altitude in relation to storm motion. That's certainly sufficient for rotating updrafts. And again, we have these elevated STP numbers. And I think it's important to look at what's happened earlier today. This is that tornado is a waterspout crossing Pickwick Lake, the Tennessee River at Waterloo. And I say this all the time with these events. Sometimes the first storm of the day, it's going to talk to you. And again, all these videos were taken in Lauderdale County. This is north of Florence, north of the Shoals. Again, Waterloo, back up toward the Tennessee state line. And I will say, I've heard of no specific structural damage from this, but clearly we had a tornado down. And that first storm will tell you a story. And I think the story we're learning here is the fact that we better pay attention to all storms that form this evening. And again, this video was taken up in northern Lauderdale County. Same thing. These are basically in the same area. That looks like a little drill bit type tornado there in Lauderdale County. And obviously, we are going to have some tree and timber damage somewhere. But again, thankfully, we've heard of no structural damage. All of this happened pretty quickly. And this was a very small, isolated, tiny storm that clipped the northwestern corner of the state. I mean, the far northwestern corner near Waterloo, which is a lovely community. I've been to the school there. It's a great place. And again, I'm thankful we've heard of no structural damage. But again, this is what I'm afraid we will see more of this over the next several hours, especially this evening. And in terms of the timing, we're kind of opening up the window about 4 o'clock. And again, it's 2:47 right now, so basically we're close to that. Between now and 9 o'clock for the Tennessee Valley, that tornado watch is in effect. And then for Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, we've adjusted the timing a little bit to 7 p.m. to midnight. That's for any isolated cells that might get ahead of that main line as early as 7 o'clock. And then down toward Montgomery, Auburn, Opelika, Demopolis, Selma, the window between 11 p.m. and 2 to 3 a.m. And again, the storm should be weakening at that point down toward US 80 and Interstate 85. So again, it's just going to be a night to pay close attention to what goes on here. And again, this is the tornado that came through the northwestern corner of the state up around Waterloo at midday today at 12 noon. And there's just concern that we're going to see more of this. And so obviously you want to be in a position to hear warnings. And remember, everything will work as usual. There's a lot of bad information floating around about the weather radio situation for Birmingham. Warnings will be issued. Yes, we will be on the air. Yes, everything we do, there's no change. Your phones will go off. The only thing that will not work, the weather radio transmitters serviced by the Birmingham National Weather Service office for their county warning area. They're in a software upgrade, a mandatory thing. They couldn't move it. It is what it is. So if you are in Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Montgomery, Auburn, Opelika, just be aware that you can't use your weather radio tonight. It will not sound. So be sure that you've got wireless emergency alerts enabled on your phone, WIA. That's that loud tone out for tornado warnings. That will wake you up. And again, you go into, and this is not an app. This is built into every phone sold in America. Go into settings, notifications, and be sure emergency alerts are turned on. If you live in a trailer, you need to think about where you're going to go and how to get there and have transportation. We have to do better for you. Oftentimes, people need more than 10 minutes to get to a safe place or a shelter or a business that can serve as a shelter. And the average lead time for a tornado warning here is about 10 to 15 minutes. Again, we will try to be cognizant of that as we go through tonight and try and give you a little heads up if you live in a mobile home on the fact that it's time to leave now and to go into a shelter. But again, it's going to be that kind of night. Of course, you live in a site-built house in your safe place. You're going to have helmets for everybody, and preferably hard-soled shoes, a little air whistle, air horn if you need to alert first responders. And we'll get through this together fine. Understand, May is tornado season here. That's the one thing we want to make it perfectly clear. This is not unusual. But I will say one of the analogs we've seen that's a little I guess disturbing is one of the analogs that popped up was May 27th, 1973. This was over 50 years ago. Most of you were not even remotely close to being alive when that happened. I was. In fact, I was in Brent that night. And again, that event did produce a very violent F4 tornado that tore through Greensboro, Brent, came through southern Shelby County, and lifted really on the slope of Mount Cheehaw. And there were some other tornadoes as well, one in Center Point in the northeastern part of Birmingham. We're not saying the same places will be hit. We're just saying the same set of circumstances produced an event like that. So again, let's go back to the radar. And again, we're live here at 2:50, and there's no severe weather anywhere in Alabama here at 2:50. We really think the main core threat's going to be after 5 o'clock this afternoon. We'll give it another hour or so. You can see storms are increasing over North Mississippi. There is one severe thunderstorm warning in effect there. That would be over here just to the east-northeast of Oxford. And we've got this one storm with a tornado warning. And what we'll do here is go to the high-top radar and take a closer look at this thing. And again, it's in the same environment that produced the tornado at Waterloo earlier today in the northwestern corner of the state. And that rotation is really close to Fayetteville, Tennessee. And again, this is all about 35 miles north of Huntsville, across the Alabama-Tennessee state line. And the tornado warning there will be in effect until 3 o'clock for west central Moore and central Lincoln counties in Tennessee for this possible tornado that is located pretty close to Fayetteville. And again, it has the same type structure and the same type look we saw with that little isolated storm that came through the extreme northwestern corner of Alabama about 12 noon today. But again, we stress the rest of that down into Alabama, we just got a few showers about. Nothing severe, no warnings in effect. Got showers as far south as southern Bibb County, showers parts of Winston, Lawrence County, or Lamar County, and Lawrence County, and Colbert and Lauderdale. But again, there's no sign of any rotation here, but we're going to have to watch these things like a hawk this evening in coming hours. And again, if you missed it, this is the tornado watch, and this will not be the last tornado watch issued. Inevitably, there will be one farther to the south. This is in effect for the Tennessee Valley of North Alabama until 10 o'clock tonight, and it does include Cullman County. And again, that's for any little isolated storms that do what we saw earlier today that might produce an isolated tornado. But the core threat really will be coming later. And again, here's a look at our timing. If you missed it, this is the main window for severe storms. And there could be a few severe storms outside of this, but for the Tennessee Valley and northwest Alabama, 4 until 9 p.m. For Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden, that main window, 7 p.m. to midnight. Montgomery, Selma, Auburn, Opelika, Lake Martin, Alexander City, the window between 11 p.m. and 2 to 3 a.m. And again, all modes of severe weather possible. Initially, the concern will be tornadoes and any storms that are out ahead of that main line. the discrete cells that are not competing with moisture with other storms. And again, this particular model output is valid this evening at 6 o'clock, and then this is tonight at 10 o'clock. You can see we're basically looking at a solid line, and at that point, the main concern will be damaging straight-line winds. There could be an isolated tornado in that line somewhere, but there could be a lot of wind damage in through there, and this could blow down a lot of trees, and understand that. There could be a lot of power outages tonight. And again, that's 10 o'clock. The storm's coming into Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden. And then after midnight, this is 2 a.m., the storm's down into Lake Martin, Alexander City, Montgomery, Auburn, Opelika. And they should be a weakening phase at this point. And one more time, again, if you missed it, for those that are just joining us, we had one tornado in the state around noon today. And this is the extreme northwestern tip of the state, up over Pickwick Lake and the Tennessee River at Waterloo. This is in the northwestern corner of Colbert County in the far northern part of Lauderdale County. And again, I've not heard of any structural damage from this, but that was a very photogenic tornado. That was just a tiny, tiny isolated storm, and the thing was not rain-wrapped. And again, we got a lot of good images of that. And again, we'll just have to watch all these storms very carefully tonight. And we want you to pay very close attention to warnings, respect the polygon, and be sure that you've got a good plan. And again, if you live in a trailer, know the nearest shelter, how to get there quickly, have transportation. We'll do our best during coverage tonight, this evening, if we go wall to wall for tornado warnings, to give you as much heads up as we can for these things. So again, we'll have an active night. Everything should be winding down after midnight. And the good news, things look pretty quiet. Let's quickly peek at the Memorial Day weekend. This is tomorrow. This is Thursday into Friday. But the weekend looks pretty good. This is Saturday, and this is Sunday. Really, the GFS is trending a little drier for those 2 days. We're still going to mention a few showers around, but just maybe we'll get away with a decent chunk of Saturday, Sunday dry. And even Monday, Memorial Day, looking a little drier. Inevitably, a band of showers and storms will come in here maybe Monday afternoon or Monday night with a front. And then we'll see a change to cooler air next week. In fact, this is the long-range guidance just in, May 28th through June 3rd. Look at the blue circle right on top of us. Hey, anytime you get that in late May and early June, that's a win. Temperatures below average. So one more time, and I've got to go do some radio duties and TV duties. And for those that don't know, I still do old-school radio and television, which is important. I know that most people watch now digitally and on the social platforms, but we've got some responsibilities on the other side in Studio A here. And again, nothing severe in Alabama. We're live at 2:56. The closer severe storms, one near New Albany, Mississippi, along Interstate 22. That is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect there. And up in Tennessee, we still have these tornado warnings in effect. In fact, let's flip the radar source back over to high top for a better slice. And again, that storm has been it just looks suspicious. That thing is passing near Fayetteville, Tennessee, very close to Fayetteville. Is a tornado down? We don't know at this point. The radar beam is about 2,000 feet off the ground here, so there's some broad circulation at beam height. We don't know down at the surface. It's not especially tight at this point, but we kind of noticed that trend in the tornado about noon today up around Waterloo. And new warnings have been issued downstream as that storm continues moving to the east. The new tornado warning is in effect until 3:45 this afternoon for parts of Moore, Lincoln, and Franklin counties in Middle Tennessee. And the storm moving to the east at 30. So again, that's a potential tornado near Fayetteville, Tennessee, moving to the east. This will stay north of the Alabama-Mississippi state line. But the storm motion and the wind vectors today, they just look like we're going to see a few tornadoes. In fact, look at the latest volume scan. That hook you see right here, it sure looks suspicious right there. And that could be a tornado that is down near Fayetteville, maybe just northeast of downtown Fayetteville, Tennessee. So again, we're going to have to wrap this up. And the way it's going to work, if we go live tonight for counties in the Birmingham market, will be on the ABC 3340 YouTube channel and Facebook page. If it's not in the Birmingham market, if it's Florence, Huntsville, Montgomery, wherever, we'll be right here. However you're watching this, we'll be here. Was unable to do long-form coverage for that little Waterloo tornado earlier today. I was speaking down in Tuscaloosa, had a big senior adult group, and I was not able to do that. But I'm locked here in the office. Of course, I've got to do the regular newscast here on the TV side. But again, we'll be streaming as much as we can tonight, so just hang tight. We'll get through this thing together. And after tonight, things will be much quieter for the rest of this week. Thanks for watching. Join us this evening on ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock, and we'll go live as needed with weather coverage tonight. Have a great evening, and God bless.